Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 rated sportsbook app out there. Before we go any further, I mean, everyone, look, it looks great just on camera here, but Guy, if we could go ahead and pull up this picture of Evan real quick. I mean, just look at this. Look at this master of the tracksuit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I put it on upstairs, and my wife thought I was bringing the trash down. She could hear it coming.
Oh man, there aren't even words here. This is just too good.
Yeah, I can't move too much during this podcast.
He did warn us that there might be he might have a heat stroke during the show.
Yeah, it's hot.
Toasty.
You might have to put an NSFW warning on this pod too.
Let me tell you, sir, it is hot figuratively and literally.
Oh yeah.
You even put the pants on, your pants are not on camera at all, but you're committed to the whole get up.
Yeah, I am. It fits perfectly too. I didn't have, it just came. It was made for me. I'm very happy with my purchase.
I'm glad.
5-star review coming.
Yeah, I'm glad for you. On today's show, we're going to be drafting the Seattle Kraken based on protection lists submitted by the same GMs we did our fantasy starting lineup draft from. It's going to be a little bit of the blind leading the blind here, as AJ has the full lists, and we had some technical difficulties before the show. So we'll muddle our way through the protection lists, and AJ will tell us when our lists are wrong. But for the most part, we're going to just draft the Seattle Kraken. We're not really too concerned about anything. We expect to easily hit the cap floor. We expect to be ready to go as far as Seattle being a qualifying NHL team. We'll see about competitiveness. But from what AJ said yesterday, I'm very hopeful that this team might be pretty decent.
It should be, just flipping through some of this, it should be a pretty good team, man.
Yeah.
We should be able to build a team that, kind of like Vegas, probably is going to be lacking in the really high-end talent, but we should really be able to build a pretty good team. If the team that we build isn't better than the Coyotes on day one, we have failed.
There you go. So the bar has been set at Arizona.
Damn, that's cold, Dario. That's so cold.
If we can do half as good as Evan's tracksuit, we'll be feeling good. Yeah. All right.
Sure.
No real reason to beat around the bush, I guess. Should we just do alphabetical here, AJ, and start with Anaheim?
Yeah, we'll just start with Anaheim, and right away we have some tough choices to make.
Yeah. Off the immediate, I mean, let's be honest, there's just not a whole lot going on with their forward core.
Yeah, the guys that the big names, Getzlaf, Kessler, Backus, those are all hard passes.
Yep.
For a bunch of different reasons, but number one being that they're all at least 35 years old. So
right.
Not interested.
Yep.
The only forwards that I would really have any interest in here are Sonny Milano and Danton Heinen. And even then, they both have been given some chances here. And so right now, next year, maybe we feel differently after this upcoming season where both of those guys are expected to play a more significant role for them. But given what's available on defense, I think I'm pretty good moving on from the forwards.
Yeah, unless they want to protect 4D, you're getting something quality on defense, right?
Yeah.
Sure, Fowler's going to get protected, obviously, but after that, honestly, any of the others are a conversation, with both Hampus Lindholm and Josh Manson being UFA in 2022. And then you also have Kevin Shattenkirk, who they just signed to a 3-year deal, was it? Or 4? 3. So it certainly seems like they protect Fowler, and then one of those other guys should be available.
I would
Yeah.
think Lindholm's a lock, wouldn't you? Because I mean, even then,
Oh,
you
yeah.
still think, even if we're not signing this guy, we're trading him for some assets here.
Sure. So throw
yeah.
Lindholm on the lock pile, and you're left with they have to protect one of Manson or Shattenkirk.
Yeah, the only reason that we protected Manson, he's 2 years younger. That's it. He's 1 year from free agency. Shattenkirk has 2 years left on his deal, so they could also prefer that to go with Shattenkirk because they have him under contract for a little bit longer. But in this one, we had to make choices. We made our choice. So Manson got protected. So we have any pick of some interesting guys on defense between Shattenkirk, former first-round pick Jacob Larson, Josh Mahura, and Brendan Goulet are all guys who have been top prospects in their careers. Christian Juice actually played pretty well for Anaheim last year, so...
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to Shattenkirk or Goulet for me.
Yeah. I think this is easily... Shattenkirk is a guy that, he's not a top-pairing guy, but he's a damn good defenseman that really just had the down tenure in New York.
Yeah. Since leaving New York, he's been just fine doing his thing. Going to provide you a little bit of offense from the blue line. Also a piece that you can probably move if your team is not competitive. So kind of got multiple prongs of avenues to success there for Seattle. So I think Shattenkirk makes the most sense.
Yeah, I do too.
All right.
That works.
All right, we are only
on the board. Yeah, 29 more to go.
We're only like 77 million to spend now.
Yep.
On the rest of our roster, so
locking in Shattenkirk.
Nice. Time to get cheap.
Yeah, this is gonna be this next pick is actually gonna be tough. Because Arizona has a whole bunch of guys that you just don't really care that much about.
Yeah, this is not much to choose from here.
The entire forward core, I'm just not interested in.
Yeah,
I can understand
coming through.
I can understand where people might like Tyler Pitlick or Johan Larson. Larson, especially as like a defensive center, as you're going to find out, it's not going to be very hard to find on this list.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm probably going to lean towards defense again, or the goaltender. Antti Ranta, he's a pending UFA, but when he's healthy, he's been really effective. The problem is that he's hurt a lot. So that's probably our conversation: is Ranta or the defenseman.
I mean, I don't love the defensemen that you're looking at here on this list.
Yeah. And they're all UFAs. Too,
yeah.
so.
Well, everyone the Coyotes are exposing are like at most have 1 year left on their deal.
Yeah.
So why not? You can get another quality goaltender. I think it makes sense to go with a bit of a tandem with Ranta. You can cover yourself for injury. It's just the best player available.
Wow, he's 31. Why does he feel like he's so much younger?
Goalies, man.
Well, because honestly, he was like the young. He kind of had the feel that Georgiev has now, and then he went to Arizona for several years and just sort of disappeared into the ether, and then lost his job to Darcy Kemper.
Yeah.
So,
one of those guys, the injury-prone guys that happens to sometimes, where you just kind of forget they exist for a while. But Ranta, it sounds like we're comfortable with.
My only other argument would be for Lyabushkin, but we're not going to have trouble getting guys like him.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to jump on that.
So I'm good with Ranta.
All right, we'll go Ranta.
It's one of our goaltenders down.
Yep. So we have a defenseman and a goaltender so far. Moving on. There you go. There's our starting lineup for the Seattle Kraken in Avs colors. Boston up next. Moving on down the list.
Another tough one, but this one, a lot of forward options that I like. In this, we have Charlie Coyle waived his NMC in this one for us, but in order to protect David Krejci, regardless of whatever happens with that decision, I'm not taking either player. So Anders Bjork, Nick Ritchie, Sean Corrali, those guys are all interesting. I would be comfortable taking any of those guys.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Anders Bjork
Just
when I was taking a look at it.
because of the contract term, and he's an RFA at the end of it. Honestly, I think that one makes the most sense.
I will say a minor temptation to look at Jakub Zaboral, former first rounder.
See, you can't pick a gem there.
Yeah, and just give a guy an opportunity that he hasn't had. Boston's defense has been pretty good, but at the same time, that guy's 23 and hasn't done anything yet.
Done it yet, yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking he was drafted 5 years ago, and I don't even know if he's played in the NHL yet.
I don't believe he has.
I think he played a few games, but yeah, I mean, I would lean towards Bjork. Richie is,
Yeah.
I hate that guy. I hate everything about his game. I don't think teams are going to be tempted by the fact that he was a top 10 pick however many years ago.
Yeah. Bjork has kind of a Jostian profile, but he's signed for 3 years.
Yep.
At 1.6, and it's so cheap. You can give him a lot of different roles where, as we build the team, we'll see what kind of opportunity he's going to get. But an easy, he's a good young player. Let's just see how it goes.
Yeah. The contract certainty, I think, does matter a little bit in this flat cap situation for sure. So
it definitely gives him a little extra oomph.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we have Buffalo.
This one, really all of the forwards got protected that I would care about.
You don't want to take a UFA Eric Stahl?
I don't. The only other one that I would have any interest in would be Zemgus Girgensons.
Yeah.
But I'm
on the defensive side again. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one where the protection list was tough because you could make an argument. Like, all of these teams all these protection lists would look different after the season that's about to take place.
Right. It's just something we have to deal with.
Maybe none more so than this Buffalo defensive list. Dahlin and Yoki Hadiu, I think, are easy protects. The third guy, you could make an argument for Brandon Montour, that's who we protected. You could also make an obvious argument for Rasmus Ristolainen, Colin Miller, or Jake McCabe. Any of those guys would be protections that would make sense. In this case, they've been trying to get rid of Ristolainen for a couple of years. I don't think they want to just give him away and lose him for free, but in a flat cap world, I think they would dangle him out there. With us taking Shattenkirk, I don't really want to take Ristolainen.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're building a team here, I kind of went towards McCabe when I was looking at this.
McCabe's only problem is that he's going to be a pending UFA.
Yeah, Miller's signed, so yeah. Miller was the guy I was leaning towards.
Well, if I'm the tiebreaker, I was leaning Miller as well. So,
but
does Evan's tracksuit count as 2 points? My only thought right now.
Or negative points. Yeah, I mean, I think Girgensons could be tempting here too. He's the only forward that could be tempting. But yeah, I'm fine with Miller.
Okay.
I mean, it's only a year. That's somebody that they could flip pretty quickly if need be.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm kind of the opinion that when in doubt, take a defenseman, because what we saw with Vegas,
you can ship them. Yeah.
They took 10 dudes and they sent 3 or 4 of them to other cities, and they just started building a treasure trove of draft picks that way. So I'm good taking Miller here. Right. Middlestat was protected, by the way.
Yeah. We'll go Colin Miller with Buffalo. Calgary up next. bit of a weird team. Not too hard. Another team that not that difficult to protect most of what they need to protect.
Yeah.
I guess you have the again. I know we're going super heavy on defense, but assuming they protect, well, I don't have the correct list. AJ, did they protect Giordano or not?
No, they did not.
Okay, so they can protect Hannafin, Rasmus Anderson, and Chris Tanev then.
Yeah. I had a really hard time believing that they would, that Seattle would take Mark Giordano, especially since he has another year on that deal.
At age 37, man.
Yeah, I just didn't, personally, I just didn't see it. But I do think that Calgary did not just sign Chris Tanev to that big deal to then turn around and leave him unprotected.
Right.
Of course, Chris Tanev isn't very good anymore, and it seems like Calgary was the last one to find that out. So if that ends up still being true this year, I could totally see them protecting Giordano and leaving Tanev unprotected as sort of a please take him, and get this money off of our books kind of like disaster.
So on the other side, I mean, do you think they can get Lucic to waive?
I definitely think they could get him to waive because I don't think there's any threat of him being taken. For me, I think this is Dylan Dubé. He's the only forward I have any interest in.
Yeah, he's an RFA for one, so they get him and his rights under control indefinitely, essentially. If they waive Lucic, they can protect guys like Mangiapane.
Yeah,
and there's just not a ton else to choose from, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a really shallow list, and Dubé kind of broke through with them last year as a nice depth guy at 22 years old, and right now we only have one forward. I'd be comfortable. Our forward core, starting with Anders Bjork and Dylan Dubé, it's really young, but I like it.
It works for me.
All right, Dubé from Calgary. Next up was Evan submitted this protection list from Carolina.
This one's going to be interesting.
They're going to have a lot to choose from.
Yeah. There's a lot. We have both James Reimer and Peter Mrazek. We have half of their defense in Brady Shea, Jake Gardner, Hayden Fleury. Former top prospect Jake Bean is also sitting right there. Nino Niederreiter, Ryan Dzingel, Warren Fogle, Brock McGinn, Jordan Martinook are all available to select and all have been important players for them. So we have a conversation here, boys.
Yeah, this was one where it was tough. My gut, I left Warren Fogle unprotected because I felt like they're going to pick a defenseman from Carolina just because they have so many good defensemen to pick from. Brady Shea has the biggest contract, but I think maybe he's the most tempting. But Hayden Fleury's pretty cheap too. Definitely
would take Shea over Gardner. I'd put it that way.
Yeah. Of those three defensemen, I guess of those four, I would probably have them ranked Shea, Fleury, Bean, and then Gardner.
And AJ and I have never been fans of Jake Bean.
Yeah, and I'm not a Jake Bean fan, but I really don't want to mess with that Jake Gardner contract.
Yeah,
at 30.
Brady Shea's contract does not bother me. He's been a good player.
He'll only be 27 too.
Yeah, and he signed basically through the prime. For a defenseman, you know, that's typically when you see the absolute best from these guys is in the next 3 or 4 years. For Brady Shea, he's already signed for him. You know, 5.25 is probably more than you'd like for the player that he is. But when you're starting a franchise, you know, you have cap space to work with. So
plus, if they take Brady Shea, they can become the Let's Do That hockey team. So
yeah, exactly. Conversation on the other side. I think Nino Niederreiter is at least an intriguing piece. I know he didn't have a very good season, but he signed for only just the one more year. So either you get a good bounce back from him and he's a nice player, has a good year, and you bring him back, or it doesn't go very well and you let him leave in free agency. And the part that sucks is that this is a really good Carolina team that you're getting a good player from.
Mm-hmm. And the Carolina fans, like I said, I didn't protect Warren Fogle. That's the guy that they probably are most afraid of getting taken up front. Just from what I was reading around, they would have protected him, but I chose to protect Jesper Fast over him because he's young and he'll have years before he becomes an unrestricted free agent. So someone that they could control if they wanted to go that way.
Yeah, I will say we have to take 20 players who have contracts who are not pending free agents. So we can only take 10 pending free agents.
Yep.
We've already taken 2. So
which is fine. This was pick number 7, so
yeah,
it's just something to keep an eye on that we can't always default to. Well, let's just if the guy doesn't have a contract, it's could become problematic for us.
True.
Yeah. Shea, I think you add Shea to that defense with what we've already started with, and they're starting to build a decent defensive core.
Yeah.
All right, Chicago Blackhawks up next.
No conversation about the goaltenders.
In Chicago, I sure
no.
hope not.
No.
Oh,
Reimer and Mrazek, and
no.
Okay.
Not if you took Ranta, I wouldn't think.
Yeah. I'm also good moving on there.
Yeah,
they're also both pending UFAs, so it's like
right. Don't even mess. You can get Brady Shea. Why would you mess with that?
I tend to agree. For the record, we had Duncan Keith waive his NMC. We had Seabrook not.
Yep. So, left with some interesting choices on defense. Who do you think they protect? They protect Murphy probably, or Big Z?
Definitely Z.
Yeah.
But again, that could also be a situation where whoever outplays the other guy gets
the protection. Yeah, for sure.
So for right now, I'm good with it. I'm good with protecting having a BZ.
I think they probably go forward here anyway. Obviously, Chicago's goaltender situation is very much a question mark right now. So, looking at the forwards available,
it's not a lot to choose from here.
I mean, you can pick up Ryan Carpenter's contract if you want a depth guy.
Who do they protect in this situation up front? Or I guess who's the best available up front for them to take? I'm looking at a different list than.
Yeah, AJ has the official list.
We have Shaw, Smith, Janmark, Carpenter, Comp, Walmark, Peary, Quinville, Morrison, and Edsel.
I mean, I guess they have kind of unproven forwards as far as who's we've taken so far. I was leaning towards Kampf based off of, I think he has good underlying numbers, if I remember correctly. But
okay,
yeah, I mean, they might choose to go that veteran route with a guy like Carpenter, who was on a expansion team as well.
Yeah, I was leaning towards Carpenter. He's a proven fourth line guy for just $1 million.
Yeah.
What do we have our roster? Can we pull that up?
What do you mean?
Talking a guy.
Oh,
just to see, because Carpenter's a wing is the one thing. So we have Bork and Dubé already.
Yeah.
So
Carpenter can. I believe he's played center.
Has he? He hasn't played since they signed him, right? But I mean,
Colorado was after him. Oh yeah, I don't know if he's playing center, but he's certainly taking enough face-offs.
Yeah, I think he's playing center there.
Right. Well, if he's got that versatility, then I'm cool with Carpenter for sure.
Yeah, because that's why Colorado was after him.
Okay. We can take our first period break right here before we get to the player that Colorado will be losing and acknowledge Breckenridge Brewery, the official beer of DNVR. I got their agave wheat shirt on right now. It sounds like people are getting vanilla porter across the country. I got some tweets the other day, someone saying they just got it out in Las Vegas and it was one of the best beers they've ever had. So check the Breck Beer Locator online, see what they have in stock near you, and try yourself some new Breckenridge Brewery beers while you can. And go on over, and while you're sipping a beer, play some WGT golf. We have our Elf on the Shelf shootout open for business right now, the weekend tournament. Go to dnvrgolf.com to download and search for DNVR4 to join our fourth clubhouse. Over 750 members across all of the clubhouses at this point. And play in the tournament. Once you finish up, take a screenshot of your final score, send it into either the DNVR Sports Twitter or info@thednvr.com, and you will be all entered for your chance to win some free DNVR merch. Bunch of awesome stuff. Breck Brew, WGT Golf, match made in heaven right there. Go get some of both. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook as we arrive at the Colorado Avalanche, being picked from for the Seattle Kraken. AJ, we ultimately decided to go with a protection list that is pretty much just your protection list from your article.
It is, except Nichushkin got protected and not Jost.
So you have Tyson Jost available, you have JT Compher available, you have Jonas Donskoy available.
Yep, and then defensively you have EJ and Ryan Graves.
Ryan Graves is the most likely a candidate, and then you also have Pavel Francouz available in goal. So,
and Hunter Miska, if you really want to get crazy.
Given that we got Ranta, I don't know if Francouz is really a consideration at this point.
No.
So
they're gonna be goaltenders available from teams that have weaker skaters available. Yeah. So I think we have to take a forward here. Our defense is shaping up nicely. We're gonna get other good defenders later. Yeah. We've had a hard time building a forward core. For me, this is Donskoy, Compher, or Jost.
And so I'm comfortable with throwing Graves out of the conversation as well. The question is, who fits the mold the most here? Are they willing to take the chance on Jost breaking out with opportunity, or do they just go with a safer pick?
Depends on how you feel Jost is going to do this season, right?
Yep, exactly right. In the chat, yeah, Colin says $3.9 million for Donskoy. I think the $3.9 million would be the reason they don't take Donskoy. Well,
as we talked about yesterday, Donskoy is the oldest and the most expensive, but he's also the guy with the highest. He's the highest scorer of them.
Sure,
he has the best track record of the highest level of success in the NHL.
He also doesn't play center, though.
He's also purely right wing, and he's 28 years old. I don't know how a franchise, an expansion franchise looks at JT Compher and thinks I'll pass on that.
I was leaning towards Compher as well.
He's experienced. He's got a certain level of success that he's already given in the NHL, and then at $3.5 million for 2 more years, he's there.
He can play any position on your third line. In a pinch, He can fill in on your top 6.
Exactly.
It's just too easy for me. But Evan, Mr. Tracksuit down there, you agree?
Yeah. The only reason I would think Donskoy is because looking at the team we built, he's a proven guy who can put up some points. But yeah, I would think they'd go Compher, guy that they can keep around for a little bit too.
Cool.
Yeah, at 25, at the end of those 2 years, a good chance that they bring him back.
Yep. So maybe even some opportunity for him to try and become more of a middle 6 player than a third liner, but that remains to be seen. As going with Compher, I mean, that's good for the Avs, right? You get $3.5 million there off the books, so you can't be too mad about it. Next up, Columbus. That defense is ugly for what they're going to have available.
They've got Savard, Kukin, Harrington, Carlson, Bayreuther, and Clendenning.
No, thank you.
This forward core is not any better.
Yeah, this was immediately I'm thinking whichever goalie isn't protected.
It's Elvis is Corpusalo got protected. Elvis is ineligible.
Yeah, and even Mattis is decent, but as like a backup to the you're gonna need a third stringer too. So
Yeah.
This is weak all the way around. Yeah, goaltenders you can't spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's either I have no interest in the entire forward core, not a single one of those players.
So you just take a depth guy, basically.
It's either take David Savard or the goaltender.
Is there no thought to, like we talked about with Zaboral, maybe the same thing with Carlson on defense?
You could. I don't think he's. Let me check his waiver status real quick. Because if you can't send him down and you have to put him on waivers and you just lose him,
it's worthless at that point.
That's a bummer. Yeah, he is not. He has to get through waivers.
So,
yeah, this is slim pickings either way.
Yeah,
just take your third goaltender here. Is that the play?
He's 24 years old.
Maybe there's some value there. Like Savard just walks, right? If you take him and you say, "Hey, we're not even going to really play you."
Yeah.
I
mean, I like David Savard. I think he's a good defender. He's a solid second pairing guy. But as a free agent, you're probably gonna have to give him a contract. He's 30 years old. You're gonna have to give him a contract you don't want.
And he looked slow in the playoffs. I know he played. They cranked out the top four basically every other shift, but he's going to hit that wall soon, just the way he plays, and it's going to be very expensive. So this might be a third string goalie type of thing here.
Yeah, this is one of those teams where you're just like, whatever.
You mean you don't want to take Mikhail Grigorenko from this team?
You know, I will say, look, if he has a really solid year, that's a conversation.
All right.
It has to be. I mean, this list is so weak otherwise.
Yeah, I know. But we'll take the third string goaltender for now. Mattis Kivlenieks? I don't know.
That sounded good.
One of those, somewhere in there. Moving on to the ancient team of the Dallas Stars. Look, I mean, I think there are some interesting options here, just not really anything particularly young, unless you want to go with something crazy.
I mean, I don't want to. Again, the forwards are all old.
Yeah,
and then the ones who haven't done anything. The defenseman Steven Johns he's been hurt so much. Alexiak honestly had a nice breakout, but he's going into free agency and is probably going to get a contract again that I'm not comfortable with. But at 27 years old, I think he's a really intriguing option. Sekera, no.
Definitely not.
The only other guy that I would have interest in would be Julius Honka.
And you're betting on a guy who has never really lived up to what was expected out of him if you're going that way.
Exactly.
He is the RFA, though, right? You maintain his rights if it works out.
Right. And at 25, he's right again, a guy that's right in the middle of his prime, and you can at least talk yourself into, hey, this could work with Julius Honka. But again, like that's a guy that needs opportunity. We're building a pretty good defense.
Yeah.
I don't know that he gets that. So I would look at the goaltenders.
After we just took a third stringer, I mean, I guess you could go Khudobin and run a tandem with Ranta.
I think Khudobin and Ranta would be competitive.
Khudobin would be, he's 34 and that contract goes through 23, but
yeah, he would have 2 years left on it.
Yeah, not terrible.
So this is I mean, I think Alexiak is probably the best player here for us to take. He had a good playoff. He's, again, 27 years old. And he's a big mauler. So, you know, that's
what happens when he ends up on your bottom pair, though? Like, Are they really going to pay that dude?
I don't have an answer to that.
Evan, Alexiak, or Kudobin? You're the split here.
It's tough because it's like, without having looked down, I guess, at all the other goalies that are going to be available, do you want to commit to Kudobin and Ranta?
There are going to be other goalies that are going to be intriguing. We're going to have Jack Campbell. There's going to be Jake Allen.
Yeah, Jake Allen would be a good.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards taking the defenseman, build up as many defensemen as you can, and then they only need one more goalie. Do you maybe not fill that spot just yet?
All right,
Okay.
so Alexiak.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
All right, we'll go with Alexiak from Dallas. Next up is Detroit. Detroit is bad and shouldn't have too much trouble getting out of this without giving up anything too crazy.
this is when Seattle says we choose not to pick.
Yeah, they're gonna pick an AHL guy or something. I guess they could pick an old dude and try and flip him or something, but
yeah, honestly, the only guy here that I have any interest in whatsoever. For the memes, you could take Pickard, but in reality, you could take Troy Stetcher and try and flip that guy.
that's as good an option as I can come up with. So
yeah, let's not spend too much time on that.
yeah. moving right along to Edmonton. AJ, what you got for us on Edmonton?
This was tough. I need to go back and look at the protection list because the defense has all of Barry, Russell, Larson, and Clefbaum available.
Yeah.
And then at forward, Turris, Neal, those guys are available. Obviously, Neal would be. I'm good. I regret ever mentioning his name, but Turris I think is interesting because at 1.65, he doesn't have to be very good to live up to that salary.
You get an extra year out of him there, and it does feel a little bit with Edmonton. You're kind of waiting to see who has the bounce back year, right?
Yeah, and with Clefbaum, he gets exposed, but he's coming off of a major injury,
Right.
Okay,
not
so
going to play basically.
the guys that got protected were Nurse, Caleb Jones, and Ethan Bear. I don't
Okay.
have a problem with that because
Yeah.
any of those guys would have been prime pickings for us.
If you're going with Shattenkirk, it does become hard to take Barry to a certain extent there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Turris, depending on how he does this year, gives him a proven center at least, who's relatively cheap based off of what's going on now. So
that's the thing is that Turris would be on a 1-year deal at 1.65, and what are the other options here? You don't really like any of these other forwards.
no way. Jesse Puljujarvi breaking out, guaranteed.
Yeah. Well, he got protected anyway.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
shows to show how deep Edmonton is, but Turris is super versatile for him, right? Super easy guy to flip if he's playing solid, and that's the way Seattle wants to go with it. Or if he blossoms and they want to keep him for a run, they can go that way too. It just makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I think he's just the cost at $6 million when he was in Nashville, it would have hurt too much.
Yeah.
But at 1.65 for a year, this is purely like he plays well. This is great deadline fodder if things don't go very well for you as a team.
Yep. Agreed. So I'm going with Kyle Turris for that pick for sure.
lock it in.
Value. Locked in.
That feels, I will say Edmonton feels like a prime trade candidate though.
Yeah, definitely to protect that.
Yeah, because there will be somebody that they want to protect, and you know, a guy like Adam Larson would be intriguing for us. We're already building a pretty good defense though, so it not like a must protect. But Larson, if we don't take Shattenkirk and we end up with Josh Manson instead, then Barry is a perfect fit.
Yeah.
The Barry's a guy they might just go after in free agency anyway.
Definitely possible. Seattle will have the at least better knowledge of who's likely to hit free agency when they are making their draft picks. So that could have a significant effect as well. As we have our team here. 5 forwards up front: Turris, Comfer, Carpenter, Dubé, and Bjork. And then we're already 4 defensemen deep with Shattenkirk, Miller, Shea, and Alexiak.
We've done a good job. We've got 2 righties and 2 lefties on defense.
Yeah,
too, so
we've put it. The defense is shaping up real strong.
I will say, theoretically, Carpenter is a 4C, Comfer's the 3C, and Turris is the 2C.
Yeah. Still need the high end. But I already know who our probable 1C is going to be, but we'll get there. First up, we have the Florida Panthers to pick from. Should we make someone happy and pick Mackenzie Weegar for the memes?
He got protected.
He got protected on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have on defense, it's Strawman, Nudavara, Gudis, Stillman, Pro, Cross, and Keeper. I think we should take Nudavara.
I'm fine with that. That's a legit NHL player.
Yeah, he's good. He's 26. He's signed. He's at a reasonable price, and I don't like any of the forwards. If Alexander Wenberg has a bounce back season, intriguing option there because that's another center.
I'm not banking on that though.
Right. That's in a year from now, that conversation could be different. Carter Verhaeghe actually sucks. I don't understand why people are playing him in the NHL. That guy's actually just not good. So I'm sorry if he's listening, but you're bad, bro.
Yeah, Nudavara seems like an easy pick. That's a dude you can drop into your defense and not worry about.
Yeah.
Or be a
Absolutely.
depth guy sitting around.
I mean, at that point, you probably try and flip him, right? But
yeah, I mean, that's always the other conversation is you can just move these guys to other teams who need defense.
Yep. All right. Lock that one in. Move on to the LA Kings. This is another bad team.
This might be our first AHL player here.
Yeah.
I don't want Dustin Brown or Jeff Carter. Too old.
No. That's just dead cap money, basically.
Carl Grunstrom could have the kind of year. Matt Luff, Michael Amadio, they could have decent years where they become intriguing options. I'm not taking Jonathan Quick. He's 34. He only has 2 years left on that deal when Seattle is selecting.
And has been trending in the wrong direction for a long time.
Right. And so that's why Cal Peterson got protected, which wasn't even my call, by the way. Was not me. I did agree with it, though. It just makes more sense.
So
defensively, I protected Walker, Roy, and Doughty. That leaves open Oli Mata, McDermott, and Cale Clegg, who I think is the guy here.
Sure. Yes, he can go to the AHL.
Yeah, he's still waiver eligible.
That makes sense.
Yep. All right. So first bona fide prospect pick there out of LA, I guess, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Oli Mata was not going to. He's been so well traveled. I'm good.
Especially given the defense we're building for this team. Don't need no Oli Mata.
William Karlsson had a 40-goal year for Vegas's cup run.
Yep.
He wasn't a bona fide 1C when they got him, but he became one for that 1 year. Now he's a 2C, moonlighting as a 1C.
Minnesota up next.
Do we have to?
We do, unfortunately. And
somebody's got that stank on him.
Honestly, there certainly isn't anything high end to pick from Minnesota. You're going to have your kind of a pick of the litter of depth forwards, though, if that's the route you want to go.
Yeah, the other guy, Kakinen in net, was the AHL goaltender of the year.
You could go that way.
We could have our third and fourth goaltenders if we really wanted to. I think this is where we get wing depth.
Yeah, I'm fine with that, you can go with whoever you want. Hartman.
I mean, I think it's Greenway. He's signed. He's 23. He's a good physical player. He's solid. Greenway, I think,
fits the model of the team the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with. He's just a good fit all the way around.
He adds a little size to this forward group too.
Yeah. And so, I mean, 23 years old and not like looking to still establish himself. Like, he's an NHL player.
Works for me all the way around. All right. One more, then we'll take our second period break here. The Montreal Canadiens.
This was the Jake Allen conversation.
Yeah, it just makes the most sense given we went out and got Ranta. Allen's an established NHL goaltender.
Yeah.
You have him through 2023, so you kind of at least have a 1B locked up for the next couple of years.
Yeah. I will say Paul Byron's he's decent, but at 31.
Yeah. Ben
Sherratt's actually pretty good. But they only have him for the 1 year, and then he'll be 30 years old. This, Victor Mete, Kale Fleury, some of these guys, it's going to be a big battle for them to establish themselves in the upcoming season.
Yep.
For right now, I'm good moving on. Arturi Lehkonen, I think, is a good depth player, but our forward core is kind of like, I think we've already built pretty solid depth.
Yeah.
Where
did Joel Armia get protected in this scenario?
He did not. He is available, and he is.
To me, he's more. I would lean towards him more than Lehkonen, but
he's a pending UFA too. But
yeah. If they want to, I can't believe Allen got $4.4 million or whatever. But
well, Allen's next contract, that's his current contract.
Oh,
4.35. It's the last year of his current deal. Allen's next deal is 2 years at 2.875.
Okay, that's more.
So
you can stomach that for sure.
Yeah, and at 30 years old, he's like right in that goaltender range where you're like, it's fine. No, Deneau is not available. Otherwise, that would have been an easy pick.
Yeah. I'm fine going Allen.
All right, we'll go with Jake Allen to round out our goaltenders.
Yeah. See, this is our very next. The way that we're going to start segment 3 is we're getting an actual 1C. So
yeah, and we will get to that in just a second. As we do have to acknowledge Chevalier Mortgage. You can head on over to dnvrmortgage.com. Go over there at the very least to get yourself entered for a free shirt from DNVR or a free hat. Either way, you can pick which one you want if you win and get set up with a free consultation. Both Mike and Virginia have been at it for over 15 years, so they are extremely experienced in the business. You can reach them at 303-257-6578 or go to the aforementioned dnvrmortgage.com. Since your home is likely to be one of your largest assets in your mortgage, your largest debt, they believe it is vital to consider your full financial picture when purchasing a home. This includes considering your short and long-term planning goals, your investments, and your tax situation. Again, DNVR Mortgage to hit up Mike and Virginia, and they will get you set up with a free consultation to assess all of your options and find the right loan for you. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006, Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Going with Jake Allen from Montreal sets us up for the Nashville Predators. And based on our protection lists, old friend Matt Duchene is available.
So we got to talk about why that is. This Nashville protection went 4-4. Basically, Ryan Johansson is a year younger. He makes the same money as Matt Duchene, but he's a year younger and he's signed through 2025. Duchene, the year older and signed through 2026. Same money again. So you're probably paying for more of Duchene's decline than Johansson's at this point. And then the other protections were Philip Forsberg, Victor Arvidsson, and Luke Kunin. So And on defense, Yossi, Ellis, and Ekholm are the obvious ones. The controversial thing, the controversial protection here is Dante Fabro. Basically, Duchesne gets exposed because they want to protect Fabro. He's 22 years old. He's a top 4 defenseman. A guy they waited a long time. He's a decent player. This is a bad spot for them, and why I think they'll be a trade team.
Yep.
Because I can tell you, if Duchesne gets protected and they expose Fabro, we're just going to take Fabro.
Yeah. You're taking Duchesne or Fabro based on the list that Nashville ends up with, whichever way they go. Like
the only other consideration that you would even have would be Connor Ingram in net at 23 years old. He's been nothing short of spectacular in the AHL, but there's still the question of what happened in Tampa Bay that they were so willing to give up on him.
Yep.
I don't know what that is. It scares me off of it, especially because I like where we're going at the goaltending position already. This is definitely going to be a trade team, though. They are going to have to do something, because I don't think that they're just going to sit there and be like,
guess we lose our star defensive prospect or Matt Duchesne.
Like, dang, our defense is getting a little older and we have no prospects up and coming. So there goes Dante Fabro. Or, well, we had Matt Duchesne for 2 years and then we just lost him to expansion for free.
Yeah.
This is where us not doing any kind of trades hurts this process a lot. But in this one, the 22-year-old
wins out.
They didn't. They go 4-4 here. So
yeah.
That's why these guys are all available.
It's Kunin over Duchesne. That's who they chose.
Yeah. It's basically Luke Kunin. And again, Kunin is 20 years old. Or 22 years old. So there's already been talks that they would like to move Duchesne's money. So that's why, again, another reason why I think that this could be
that he's exposed. Yeah,
but I think it's more likely that they would. I think it's more likely that they would take any kind of a deal to move Duchesne, to have Duchesne be selected instead.
Sure.
Instead of just being like, well, we just lost him
for nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, given the way that this all played out and not doing trades, I mean, obviously they're going to take Duchesne, and they're not going to get a chance at picking a forward with that potential of putting up points. So they're basically just Duchesne and Turris. They're basically just rebuilding Nashville.
Yeah. With a good defense.
Try again. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where we really are. And I wanted to explain it, because I know when we put out the graphic with our team, people are going to be like, Nashville wouldn't expose Matt Duchesne. You guys are stupid. And it's like, we get that, but we're not making trades in this. So something has to happen. And I think that they would value the 22-year-olds over the 29-year-old that they've already talked about trying to find a way to move on from. So,
yeah. The Ingram one, that is so weird what happened in Tampa Bay. But you do wonder if that's tempting for a team.
I do think it absolutely would be tempting if it was any team other than this. Like if come what I think could absolutely be a realistic, especially with Askarov in the picture for Nashville, is that Nashville trades something to Seattle. Picks or whatever, maybe another roster player, take a depth guy like Colton Sissons or a Yarn Crook or whatever. They trade that guy to Seattle and say, take Connor Ingram. Because I think that would be very realistic. That way they protect both Fabro and Duchesne, but they're still losing something. So that's my thoughts on it.
Yeah.
God, Askarov so good.
We are approaching the hour mark here, so we might have to go a little bit rapid fire through a couple of teams. New Jersey Devils
should be pretty easy.
Yeah. New Jersey Devils are up next.
Corey Crawford.
Why?
No enthusiasm at all for that.
Certainly not after you've already picked Ranta and Jake Allen.
All right, well, how about PK Subban?
Boy, you think?
It's only 1 year left on that deal. So
someone you can market around too.
Maybe you could get his twilight years. Maybe he has a huge bounce back for you. You get 1 year of PK Subban, and then he comes off the $9 million deal. And then he's, you sign him to a much more reasonable deal in his 30s.
I actually don't hate this. Now we're really Nashville.
I mean, looking at this roster, like, what else do you want? I like Yanni Kuokkanen. I actually do really like him. I think he's good.
Don't need another C, really, though, do they?
He's a key. He may not play for them right away.
Yeah, he might be. He's probably AHL eligible.
Yeah, that would. I think it's either PK or prospect number 2 here.
PK's fine.
PK's fun. Let's do that.
All right, why not? PK Subban from New Jersey. AJ, who are your Isles losing?
In this one, I think it should be Scott Mayfield.
All right, sold. Get him.
I will say,
so many defensemen now.
Josh Hosang could be a lot of fun.
Oh, we can't. A team with Josh Hosang and PK Subban on it. What a world that would be.
All the personality.
Yeah, how much ego can fit in that building in Seattle? We'll see.
Right. We can go with Scott Mayfield.
Yeah, I think Mayfield's easy there. Cheap.
Yeah.
Can play him as your bottom pairing guy for the next couple of years. Easy money.
This team is stacking up defensemen right now.
Well, that's part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers.
Yeah, the other team in New York.
I think this would be Julien Gauthier.
Sure, young guy.
Gauthier or Brendan Lemieux.
I'd take Gauthier over Lemieux.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Lemieux feels like a known quantity. Gauthier, you're dreaming on a little bit, and maybe it doesn't work out, but all right. Ottawa, definitely taking Marion Gabour's contract.
Old friend J.C. Bowden.
Jason Bowden?
J.C. Bowden.
Oh, J.C. Bowden. Okay, yeah, there you go. I was like, what?
No.
Who did they protect here?
Hold on,
Because I'm looking at Abramov. That's like a young guy.
No, he got protected.
Okay, that's why I figured he would.
Protected here was Dadonov, Brown, Kachuk, Brown, Batherson, and Abramov. And then on defense, it was Wolanin, Zaitsev, and Shabbat.
They didn't. Did you say Colin White?
Yeah, he's also on there.
Oh, okay.
And then Matt Murray in net.
Yeah. I don't really want their other goalies. So.
I don't want. Maybe Balsers. I don't know.
I was thinking Chris Tierney.
You could go Tierney if you don't want Young.
I mean, he's 26 and he's a decent NHL player.
I guess that's not that old, yeah.
No, he's okay. Like, he's a solid NHL player. He's totally unsexy pick.
Yeah, UFA in a year. Flip him.
Sure.
Go for it.
Round out your forward core too.
Chris Tierney. There we go.
Sold.
Guy that can play center or wing too, so a little bit of versatility.
Yeah, this team is going to have a really strong defense and be a super versatile forward lineup. I can tell you that much.
Yeah, Dario, the Isles actually have agreements in place to sign a handful of guys that they aren't officially on their roster yet. Corey Schneider being one of them.
There you go. The more you know.
Yeah.
Next up, Philadelphia.
Well, they exposed James Van Riemsdyk in this one, and I'm good with that. I'm good with taking him.
All right, we can go with JVR if that's the exposed list.
We're starting to get
expensive here.
Yeah, well, I'm actually looking at it. That would put us That would put us at 70 million, 11 million to go with 8 teams left. So we probably shouldn't do that.
All right. Can save some money here then.
Did they leave guy like Nicholas Aube Kubel?
Yeah. He's exposed. Good with that, man. We need wings.
Yeah, they have so many defensemen already. I don't think they go D.
Yeah, well, and the defenseman, like Justin Braun, meh. Like he's in his 30s. Niskanen retired. Gustafson's actually, Hagen and Gustafson are both actually just not very good.
Yeah.
So Samuel Morin, Chris Begraw, Derek Pouliot, like a wasteland of former top prospects.
What the? I'm thinking Kubel or even Rubtsov. He was a relatively high pick. I think did he go back to Russia? Is that what happened? But,
I'm not sure. He was always more of like a defensive guy. I've never been a fan.
Yeah, I mean, I think they go younger forward here, maybe.
I'm good with Abe Kubel. He's a good cost-effective player.
For sure.
Yeah.
Works for me. We'll go with Kubel. Pittsburgh.
Not everybody all at once, guys. so much excitement on this one.
Jared McCann was involved in the last expansion, was he not?
I don't think he was.
Was he not? I thought he was part of one of the trades.
I think Vancouver just sent him to Florida, and that's how.
That's not what it was. Okay.
Yeah. Is Teddy Bluger available or Zach Aston Reese?
Zach Aston Reese is.
Yeah.
And Teddy Bluger is, actually. They both are.
Yeah, they're just kind of a bunch of depth forwards.
Yeah, another depth forward is kind of looking like the pick here.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of those two would be my thought, but
I mean, do we want to go with a more proven third guy with the Casey DeSmith, who we can bury in the AHL?
What's left on his deal? Oh,
he'd
have a year left. Yeah, that's fine.
1 year.
Get our fourth goalie and just be done with goalies.
Whatever.
Yeah,
that sounds fine.
Man, Pittsburgh's kind of got crappy depth.
Yeah, not a very intriguing group here.
All right, we'll go with Casey DeSmith then. Have 4 goalies.
I'm good with that. That's fine.
San Jose.
So San Jose has Burns and Mark-Edward Vlasic available. Any intrigue?
Not after taking Subban.
What's our defense look like?
Yeah, what does our actual team look like?
I'm sure guys like working overtime because we just threw like 5 picks at him. Shattenkirk, Miller, Shea, Alexiak, Nudivar, Clegg,
we got a pretty pricey defense right now.
It'd be hard to fit either Burns or Vlasic onto that lineup.
Just for the record, the backup goalie, Casey DeSmith, and I don't even remember who you took from Detroit, but you said that he was not going to matter, so I haven't included them on here. Because they're basically just AHLers, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, Detroit was Troy Stetcher. He's like our 7th defenseman that we just want to trade somewhere else.
Right, well, he's not going to figure into the actual lineup itself, so I left him off.
We're trading him. It's fine.
It is getting toasty in this suit, by the way, yes.
They might expose Burns and Vlasic, and we might not actually pick either of them.
Yeah, I mean, this one, I think it's Stefan Nosen is probably the guy I take here.
The's no way I would take Burns.
Yeah,
he's going to sign till he's 40 almost.
Way too long.
Both of those guys are signed. Vlasic is actually signed a year longer than Burns is.
Did they protect True? I assume
they did not.
I might take True over Nosen then, but
or Darlene.
I'm good.
Either way, depth guy.
Darlene he actually was their 7th forward protector.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Some
no love for Magneto.
Gonna take a pass on Magneto.
Right.
Got a billion depth forwards already.
I guess we'll go with Alex True. St. Louis. can't
Boy.
really take Scandella, or is he's probably protected on the actual list?
No, he's available.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if we had built our team a different way, but we haven't.
Sunquist, or I mean, there's
Yeah,
decent forwards available. It seems like.
take Kyle Clifford if you wanted experience.
I like Sammy Blay.
Yeah, I was looking at Sammy Blay or Sunquist if he's available.
He is.
Barbashev, I don't know.
He is. All those guys are available.
Given how expensive our defense, I'd probably lean towards cheaper guys like a Sammy Blay.
Pick your cheap RFA depth.
I like Sunquist. I like Sunquist more than Blay, but I don't think the extra $1 million
Worth it, yeah.
Yeah. Plus we
And the
got
extra $1 million,
Comfort too, and like there's
the extra $1 million and the extra year. I think that's makes Sunquist a no-go for me, and I want the wing. Our centers are honestly good.
yeah, we're pretty set at center.
We have a lot of center ability, so
Yeah, so we have Duchesne, Turris, Tierney,
Comfort,
and Carpenter.
yeah.
We're fine.
all right. So Blay, save $1 million.
Yeah.
I will say we are looking at this cap hit number, and like not all of we're at 25 guys. That counts all 25 of them.
So
we probably could have gone with a guy like JVR, and we just sort of panicked.
I mean, it leaves you room to do stuff in UFA, right?
It does. Or it leaves you room to do whatever you want to do with Tampa Bay because we're getting another good player here.
Yeah.
This is a tough one. This is another really good trade team right here. We have them exposing McDonough, Coburn, Shen, and Chernak.
Ooh, I take Chernak if
Yeah.
best available there.
I mean, McDonough's really good, but he's also 31 and
future at all.
Yeah. So I'm good with Chernak, man. I think that's offensively or up front, pretty much all the good forwards got protected. The guy that I would be curious about is Barre Boulet.
You love Barre Boulet, man.
I do love him. I think he's the next Tampa Bay find. Like I think that guy is the next one in line of who is this and where did he come from? He was an undrafted guy who's been almost a point per game player for 2 years in the AHL. It's just opportunity, man.
Tyler Johnson 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
Boule.
But I'm good. I'm good taking Chernak. That's a good young player.
Yep. Man, their defense is suddenly
dude, they're gonna.
I would say it's pretty good actually.
They're gonna rake in picks.
They're gonna be able to. Yeah, they're gonna be able to trade.
Well,
look at their right side. Like Subban, Shattenkirk, Mayfield, Chernak.
Yeah, and that's not even counting. It's not even. Apparently, we're just dismissing that Troy Stetcher happened.
Yeah, yep. Colin Miller. This is a good team,
dude.
Good D.
That defense is going to be legit. We have a good defense here.
To go Toronto up next.
So this is another team where I think we're taking a defenseman because Travis Dermott's available.
Yeah, I was going to say go lefty, Dermott.
Why not?
Yeah.
Load up. All right,
he's available. Easy
Dermott,
pick there too.
Easy there. Vancouver is next. I need to select this pick real quick. So, what you got for Vancouver? Okay, so nothing. The answer is nothing. I see.
Yeah, this might be a forward prospect.
Can we just pass? Is pass an option?
I mean, take one of the kids. Take either Cole Lind or Jonah Godoyevich.
All right.
I've never heard of the second guy.
I thought Jonah Godoyevich first, so we're taking him.
Okay. Well, he's also signed, and we need that, so that's fine.
There you go. Count it.
Now, we have fulfilled that requirement of drafting 20 guys under contract now.
I believe, we've fulfilled all requirements now, as long as we stay under cap.
We did it,
which we'll do. We failed.
We failed
last year.
We've got 2 picks. We've got 2 picks left. Can I see the roster real quick?
How much money do we have?
We have $10 million.
10
mil, baby.
Spend. That's
And
all-
again, that's
to go
counting
get Taylor
all
Hall
of them.
confirmed.
That's counting all of the players. So I wish we could see centers and wings and
Yeah.
so we really need help on the wing.
Yep.
Okay.
So we have Washington and Winnipeg to get a legit winger.
I'm not sure we're gonna find it, but we'll see. I mean, if they want to go veteran, do they have Panic or
Yeah, like
Hagelin?
Panic maybe.
Oshie's available.
Ooh, that's good.
Oh,
pick.
Question, I mean, Oshie's 33 already and he's signed for 4 more years. At 5.75.
How desperate are you to have a quality winger? I guess.
And it's that's a commitment, right? You take a guy like Hagelin, I guess. Well, if you're gonna take Hagelin, you might as well take Oshie. You already have Carl Hagelin's.
Yep.
yeah. I'd lean towards Oshie if he is there, just because. I mean, he's a proven scorer more so than anyone on their team other than Duchesne that we've taken.
The defenders again here. The defenders are good.
Yeah.
Justin Schultz is available. Michael Kempney, Nick Jensen, Trevor Van Riemsdyk, Yogi Siegenthaler. All of these guys are available.
Yeah.
Nick Jensen's really good.
That is I think the reality there is they probably flip one of the defensemen for a forward or for a winger, right? But
agreed. Or they just flip them for picks and they go into free agency and sign a forward.
sign Taylor Hall or something.
Yeah.
I was even going to say, I mean, we've already taken 1 million goalies, Vanasek, but so he's probably not realistic at this point. But
we actually have to take 1 forward with these last 2 picks.
Yep.
We've
Yeah.
only taken 13 forwards. We have to take 14.
I mean, I would say Oshie. Like,
I'm totally fine with that.
yeah.
So just for the sake of rounding out our roster, we'll say Oshie, but with the
Expansion team drafts TJ Golshi. Jeez.
TJ Sochi.
Yeah.
We'll take him, but everyone actually listening to the pod will know that they may well take a defenseman and trade for a winger instead.
Yeah. This is also a really good trade opportunity for Vegas or for Seattle to just extract picks.
Yep.
For protection. Like, hey, take Siegenthaler, but we're going to give you picks so that you don't touch any of the guys who are helping our NHL team. Winnipeg up. There's some interesting guys here, actually.
Wait for AJ to pound the table for Mason Appleton here.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Well, Dylan DeMello got left unprotected in this.
Oh, well, never mind then. That's an
And
easy
it's like
slam
the
dunk.
7th right defenseman.
Yeah, so for me, I think it's DeMello. If we were going forward, I actually think it should be Jansen Harkins. Although Adam Lowry would be interesting, Mason Appleton would be interesting. Those are really the only guys that I would have a conversation about.
If DeMello's exposed, I don't think there is a conversation.
Agreed. Well, and if DeMello has a year at all, like
nuclear bad or something, yeah.
Yeah, unless he goes back to the bad guy that he was previously, where it was like, this is why you were a journeyman, bro. I think this is an easy pick here. We take DeMello. We finish with 12 defensemen. I think 7 of them are right-handed. And we are set up to do whatever we want in the trade market.
Start dishing defensemen like candy, basically.
Yeah. And still have a good D. Like,
yeah.
They're still going to be pretty loaded on defense as far as what they want to put out there. So,
you know, other thing that we could do is we could trade a guy like PK and just retain half of his salary.
Retain all the salary, yeah.
Retain it and be like, hey, for 4.5, we're good.
Yeah. This is also, I mean, Laurent Brosseau, he had a really good year.
Yeah, Brosseau's good. He's a good goaltender.
If they don't have a goalie at this point, this is someone, you think about too. So,
yeah.
I mean, you look at the lineup, your goalies are Ranta and Allen. The defense is whatever you want it to be. You could trade any one of those guys and drop in a Troy Stetcher or a Dylan DeMello, or you could trade DeMello and Stetcher if you want. That Their defense is extremely quality and extremely flexible, I think, is the team we built here. And the forward core probably still a little bit lacking on the wings, even with Oshie, at least in the top 6. But you got to feel pretty good about down the middle with Duchesne and Turris 1 and 2, given that you're an expansion team.
I mean, Vegas set the bar high, but I think this is a pretty decent team.
Now all they need to do is get career years out of everybody, and they'll be in a cup final.
I mean, even then, like, if Ranta somehow stayed healthy, and like the defense they have, based off of what we drafted, that's a good defense, and they could do a little bit of damage.
Yep.
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the cap friendly version of our team.
Yep.
We did I don't know. I really like what we did here. Maybe the only pick that I would take back would be what did we decide to do with Philly?
Kupel?
Yeah.
Oh no, I think he's okay.
I mean, there was definitely like different ways we could have built the team, right? Like, if you want to commit to some old guys, maybe commit to Vlasic or something.
Definitely not doing that. But I'm the other part of our defense is that none of these guys are signed.
Yeah, right. This leaves a ton of work to do, is the one thing.
Like, the longest we have anybody signed on defense is 3 years, and that's Shea and DeMello.
Yep. Nobody, they do the same thing as Vegas, where no one's captain, but.
I mean, I think Oshie's probably the easy captain here.
Yeah.
Being the local kid, and
I think they do the same thing where it's rotating A's probably, at least the first year, but you know. Anyway, that's our expansion team, I guess. We feel pretty good about it. We can post it on Twitter. Let us know what y'all think about it as well. Dermott, DeMello, Stetcher, and then Casey DeSmith in goal are some of the extras that did not make the actual lineup because they're going to get traded or they'll be in the AHL.
That's how many defensemen we picked.
Yeah,
12. There's like still good defensemen not listed.
12 defensemen in a 30-team draft. So pick the bare minimum of 14 forwards that we were required to take.
Only 4 of these guys play the left side.
Yeah, Shea, Dermott, Nudivaro, and
who needs right D? That's the Seattle call to the entire.
Probably a lot of teams.
Yeah, we have Clegg, Dermott, Alexiak, and Shea as our left side.
Nudivaro is left-handed too.
So Cap Friendly has him officially listed as a right D. So
I think he plays. Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, it's been a long show. We do have to get out of here for the day. AJ's got TDSP to do, which go watch him on that in about half an hour, I think.
Yeah, we're talking about ownership today.
Oh, God. Well, at least you're not covering the Rockies.
Or the Broncos. Yeah, I get to just sit.
The owner just stays out of it.
Pretty much. On that note, thank you everybody for watching, listening, however you consume the podcast. We appreciate all you. Hope y'all have a great Friday. We will be back on Monday talking about something. I don't know, maybe WGCs, maybe the NHL. They just had a talk about a 56 game schedule. We'll see. Anyway, we'll talk about it then. Thank you again, and we will see you guys next time.